Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're gonna talk about space and politics. I know very spicy topic, but have to given the circumstances. So before we dive deep into it, we have to understand the birth of space industry. Now space is what we classify as final frontier of war. So be very mindful. This is final frontier of basically where the battles will be fought. Star Wars is surprisingly accurate in that department because we started our fights with land, then we went to sea, then we went into air. This is the final frontier. And the first tool that we developed that would allow us to fight in that domain was ICBM, because the idea with ICBM is that this is the era where we have figured out atomic bombs. We got this. Even hydrogen bomb was like only a few years away, so we got that part. Like we sorted that part. Only problem was how the heck you gonna deliver that puppy, because during Pearl Harbor and basically all the subsequent boom that we did, people were like utilizing aircraft. Why aircrafts are good, but they always had the issue that you can see them, they are very slow and you can intercept them. People wanted a tool that's like, we have this boom device that is very powerful, but the delivery device is not boom enough. So meaning it's too slow, too easily interceptable, and if you have good enough radar station, even a few competent fighter squadron will like, bro please, they can just go, bro please, no, you don't enter here. So people figured out ICBMs are basically upgraded brothers of V2 as the best tool. ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. End game of ICBM was to build a tool that any country can fire anywhere on the planet, meaning range on this planet will become infinite, meaning you can launch it and it will orbit planet and basically hit wherever it needs to. There won't be kilometer, 5,000 kilometers, 6,000, like anywhere on this goddamn planet. That was the end game. Now that created as a basically program that both country, basically USA and USSR, were showing off that mine's bigger than yours. Everybody's no, mine's even bigger. No, mine's even bigger. Now USSR did something very clever. At this point in time, people knew the mathematics of it. However, nobody was physically put anything in orbiting location, meaning it's like we're gonna have this much delta V and we're gonna orbit something. That was not done yet. People knew about it, math was done, but nobody did it. So they took one ICBM and they upgraded this puppy till it became suitable for its task, and then they launched Sputnik. Now for common public it was touted as like, we have something, a rocket that is gonna explore the space, we're gonna learn about it. It's like, hello travelers kind of scenario. However, people who understand basically this puppy knew that now at this moment in time, USSR literally had a sword that did not have any shield. Basically before this they were both more or less equal. Yeah, they can fight, but again, you never ever want to fight equal opponents, because any Tom, Dick and Harry who knows war knows for a fact both will be destroyed. If you ever go like mad on to each other, there will be nothing left. So this created an edge that basically USSR had, that I have a sword that you do not have a shield for. That literally scared the living bejesus out of USA, and USA responded in kind, no, mine is really bigger than yours. So USA won this race. Now many times people don't get it. It's like, why the heck we call USA won the race? Simply because of the distance they traveled. It's like when you are measuring yourself, that's the best way to say. It's like, oh, you reached to 300 kilometers, nice. You reached to 1500 kilometers above from sea level, I'm talking about, and it's like, nice, we reached to 300,000 kilometers. How about that? How about our distance is so great, light will take 1 second or more, 1.2 second to 1.4 second to reach. Let that sink in. That's why people classified this as the winning achievement, not the fact that you made the first rocket, not the fact that you had first man, woman, dog, all that jazz into space. The fact that we leapfrogged you, we as in like USA, leapfrogged you so far ahead that you could not even match this puppy. And this was scary to USSR, where it's like, dude, it's like, we do not know how to go that far out, and they can like literally place a weapon emplacement backside of the moon and will not detect it, and they're like, oh, how about you go boom. This was like, USS answer is like, now I have a sword that you do not have a shield against. Now this, what did it lead to? Well, it led to bankruptcy. Now bankruptcy was not USSR always gonna go bankrupt. It was like, dude, the philosophy that you have achieved, bankruptcy is the only friend that you're gonna have at the end of it. It was always bound to happen. However, space race expedited that process, meaning if you're burning billions of dollars trying to compete against something, that will expedite the process of you are running out of your treasury. So that's why USA is classified as the winner, and the fact that USSR does not exist anymore, that's a very clear win factor. Now what did it yield USA? Because USA also burnt money like there is no tomorrow. National pride. The fact that this achievement is so far ahead of every Tom, Dick and Harry else is like, half of the people don't even believe this happened. I mean, like, I laugh at those people simply because, not because like it was super easy to do, simply because they think they are smarter than USSR, the only people who are competent enough to even come close to this. So national pride, that's on a whole different thing. Now that itself is not big enough. That's not like, we are no longer in Egyptian era where it's like, my pyramid is bigger than your pyramid. That's not big enough. However, the youth benefited a lot from it. Meaning, think of this way, like if you study entirety of Western world, you will find European Union is the where it's at. Like that's the part that's like, printing money. However, what happened after that? Like what happened after Cold War, that patents coming out of from Europe is like patents coming out of USA. Ta-da! What the hell happened? This happened basically. Think of this way, like if you want to galvanize your entire youth to do something with yourself, to like really push yourself, to apply yourself to the maximum capacity, you need to give them a goal. You need to give them something so awe-inspiring. It's like, damn, I'm proud to be an American. That's a very big achievement. And that happened. Entirety of their youth went into STEM fields, meaning science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And this boost literally created the foundation that created the second revolution, which we call Silicon Era. So that's why it was super expensive, but they got even bigger reward. Let that sink in. Like before this, before Silicon Era, oil companies were the companies of the things, basically the world ruler. Now who is the world ruler? Google, Facebook, Apple. You get that point. Like it, from a nation's point of view, it was a cheap product. They're like, yeah, we only spent $200 billion on this and we got $50 trillion worth of value out of it. That's priceless. So it's very free. However, NASA at the time of war was awesome. Like it was efficient, focused, absolute awesome. But after that, what happens? Again, this is one thing any good sportsman will tell you. You are only as good as your opponent. USSR fell, they no longer had any opponent. That created a void. That void allowed people to exploit NASA, meaning from a contractor point of view. And again, these people are not exploiting, it's like, I'm gonna ruin the country. No, they're like, how about you give me some more money? How about rather than let's say 20% of my cut, how about I make that 25%? How about I delay the project a little bit longer, because again, there is no urgency here. It's like, how about I delay it so much that I can make a bit more money out of it. So that political sabotage started to harm NASA severely. As the worst example of that was space shuttle, and after that they did not allow space shuttle to die. Again, you build something, it sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. That's physics, that's the reality of things. However, if they had let space shuttle die, meaning it's like, okay, we built it, it was not good, let's build something better, rather than they're like, they kept going back to it, rather reviving it, because senators, politics, and like SLS is classified as Senate launch system because politicians are not letting it die. It's not a good rocket system. It's just not good enough. And not to mention, it was sold to the public as like, we are using basically space shuttle parts. It should be super quick. Again, if you are using something that has been made, had been developed, had been human rated, it should be super quick. This is neither quick nor cheap. It's far more expensive. I mean, like it's already exceeding the price of Saturn V. So this sort of political sabotage is brutal for a space nation. However, even in that bad days, even that dark territory, they created a very good failsafe for their future generation, meaning they laid the foundation of commercial growth, meaning they figured it out. It's like, dude, we can't do anything about it. It's like, can you lay down a foundation where our future generation can actually do something? Reality is, yes, they did that. Now, politicians did something very amazing here. Indirectly, what they wanted to do is make sure that there is no competition. They reduce the budget drastically, meaning the same rocket that they would get like $5 billion to develop, other people will barely get 100 million to develop. However, in that extreme competition, rise the phoenix known as SpaceX. And SpaceX alone at this point in time is like world leader in terms of space technology, because every Tom, Dick and Harry is like, we have launched 100 rocket. They're like, dude, we have landed 100 rocket. Come to me and then talk. Land your rocket, then come talk to me. So that's a different scenario. And on top of that, that's just one company. They also have Rocket Lab. I genuinely wished I could say, Blue Origin here, but again, they are surprisingly behind schedule. But again, if they also, get their act together, they would also be a, serious force, because Jeff Bezos does have some big bank balance. So that fertile ground, and that's the reason why SpaceX is an American company, why Rocket Lab is an American company. That's the reality of it. That USA, the amount of money they put into Apollo mission, like, it keeps giving on the interest right now. It's like they're swimming. So this was the best political move a nation can do. Now let's talk about the European Union. Now European Union is a conglomeration of multiple small nations like Germany, France, things of that nature. However, World War II kind of taught them a very important lesson. Is like, economics matter. And if we start to fight against ourselves, all will be destroyed. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry will be destroyed. So we have to sort this puppy out. We have to learn to live together. So European Union was born, and this is the peak of Cold War. So they realized space is gonna become the next big thing. So we really want to make sure that we also have the next big thing. So in those sort of scenario, they created European Space Agency. Now this puppy has some big, deep pockets, meaning third largest budget. Now context of here is like very huge because USA is the largest budget. It's like its budget is this much. China is the second, which is half of it. ESA is almost like around 30% less, but that's the third largest. However, ESA suffered from the worst kind of faith that could happen. No clear goals, meaning they had the money, they had the intelligence, they had everything that you can ask for, from launch locations to basically people to resources, material, time, money, everything they could have asked for, they had it, but they did not have a clear goal. Now consequence of that is like, even though they were consuming money like there is no tomorrow, they were just burning money. Like the final output is garbage. And every time their agency was like, let's do something useful, they started to choose basically external collaboration over self-reliance, and that always backfired on them. Meaning they wanted to develop their own space shuttle. Basically they learned from USA, and they would have built something which was a bit more scaled down but far more efficient, far more cost effective, but they cancelled it for the space shuttle. They wanted to build their own international space station, not international station, basically own station, but they were like, let's collaborate it with basically USA, so that USA freedom and basically European Union Space Station became the ISS. Every time they had basically their engineers, their scientists, they were like, let's do something on our own. They chose political hoo-ha over self-reliance, and that created a scenario right now that we are dealing at this very moment in time. They did not become better than Russia. They have few zeros extra compared to Russia in terms of money, in terms of launch services, in terms of everything they could have, yet they're still behind schedule compared to Russia, simply because every time they had a golden opportunity, they chose basically external collaboration rather than self-reliance, and it backfired horribly. That's why like right now current moment is so dire even for space industry. Now let's understand this dark horse here, that is China. Now China is taking these things very seriously because China kind of understands that, like at this point in time, China is one of those countries that truly understands how important Apollo was. Like even USA is kind of forgetting it's like how amazing Apollo was. Like from a country's economic point of view, Apollo was like, dude, give me $10, I'm gonna give you $1 billion. That's how amazing Apollo was. So China is taking this very seriously, and they know, like I live in India, and we know for a fact that majority of our intellectual people just leave India, and I can't blame them because there is no national project that's like, damn, I'm working this, like that national pride thing is not there. And I can't blame anyone. It's like, if you're truly capable, if you're truly competent, you want to do something amazing with it. You won't be like satisfied with like, yeah, we are launching another satellite, yeah, 739,000 satellite in the race. I'm like, not to mention SpaceX alone is launching enough satellite that the number is also very high. So China is taking this very seriously, and they want to improve their national image. Now China at this point in time does not have an image where you can be like, damn, they're good, because any Tom, Dick, and Harry really looks close to it. It's like, dude, you're just fluff. Because if you really want to understand like how the heck they have building country, like basically whole country so fast, look up what we call tofu projects. Meaning most of the projects are basically air projects. To give you a context of that, like this is real footage from real China. Like this is a bridge they are building. This is like rebars, thick rebars, like very, very thick rebars, and the person like takes it, knocks it down, it breaks. It's a rebar and it breaks like this. It's like tofu project. Just Google that. Like you will be shocked how bad it is. Like you will think, no, it cannot be. One video you will be like, it can't be. 10, 300, 750. You will be like, whoa, I get it. So at this point in time, they have to improve their image. So they pour money like there is no tomorrow into this. It does not matter where the money is coming from. That is one of the advantage of that CCP system. Meaning they have a lot of money and they have the political, meaning we're gonna do this no matter what. They want to have this sort of system because they understand the value. Like even if modern America does not understand the value of Apollo, they understand it. Like having something that a nation can look upon, so it's the best way to motivate your youth rather than becoming TikTok or become like something useful. So that's one thing that you have to understand. China is taking this very seriously, and because they do not have to worry about elections, but again they have election, but it's like me versus me, so they don't have to worry about issue. And risk acceptance is very high because I'm telling you, like India does have a lot of corruption, but it's not that bad where ISRO can launch a rocket and it can crash into a village. That's not happening. The same thing, it cannot happen. Now again, accident could happen, incidents could happen, but not as in like we can launch it and it's gonna fall in here. That's not happening. That's just nope. No, that's not happening. But China can tolerate that sort of risk. So from a political point of view, they have the freedom. They have the second largest budget. They have the freedom and they have the will to actually make this work. So their development is drastic. They went from barely doing anything to like whoa 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 whoa. They're doing some serious thing. Now, let's understand the current tragedy that we are dealing with, basically Russia-Ukraine war situation. At this point in time, you have to understand, Russia from a financial point of view does not have the capital to say, we have a space program. Like China is much ahead. European Union is like multiple digits ahead. So how the heck Russia has such a amazing system? Well, they lucked out basically. They got all the R&D tools developed by USSR for free, meaning what happened to USSR after it was dissolved? The largest territory got majority of the things basically from USSR. So USSR did pour a lot of money into it, did develop majority of the technology that you are seeing right now. However, Russia got it for free, so they do not have to do the same hard work that ISRO is doing or the China is doing. They got it for free. And because of the stupidity of European Union, they got the second spot. That's why any Tom, Dick and Harry is like, when you talk about like who is the two major space powers, everybody is like USA and Russia. And there is a very good reason for that. While China can say, oh, we have launched 10, 20 astronauts on our time, Russia will be like, yeah, we do that every 2 years. It's like that's very huge difference here, and that created a very serious scenario where Russia has a very great hold on space industry. Because while you may consider a rocket launch cost to be a primary factor, other things are also a factor, meaning how close it is to you. Meaning, let's say you built a satellite, how much traveling do you have to do before you deliver that satellite to your rockets? Now, many times you're like, hey, what about that overseas partner that is giving me super cheap deal? But here's the deal: you have to ship it through a ship, and that ship could take, let's say, a month. Then that month is an extra cost. And again, due to modern life space, people want things done now. Even if, let's say, this rocket is costing you 10 million extra, you're like, you know what, take that 10 million extra, I want to save 1 month. So that is one of those things that you have to understand. Russia, because of their cadence, because of the fact that they have been doing this so long, and mind you, USA, because of their stupidity with space shuttle, they lost their wings. Meaning space, USA went from I had wings to no wings. Russia never did that. Basically, from Soviet Union till now, they have continuously maintained the ability to send people to space. China has got that now, and USA only became the first country, and I'm most likely assuming last country that got the ability to send people to space and then lost it. However, because of SpaceX, now they are back. They're back. But Russia's hold is much larger, and I do not mean just like the ability to launch other satellite like OneWeb's satellite constellation, other things also, meaning from basically telescope systems to many things that we do not think too much about. Basically, geostationary satellite for television broadcast from many countries. They're doing like very serious thing. And in terms of technology, because they got like such a huge R&D from USSR, the rocket engine department is also taken care of. Like there are many startups that are relying on Ukraine engines or Russian engines. Again, they will also be affected. So basically right now, at this moment in time, there is war going on, and it could have very heavy consequences. Because right now, yes, USA does have the horsepower, does have the financial backing. If they actually go toe to toe, it's like, mano a mano, let's go YOLO on it, they would win. They will flat out win if they go all out. If they do not do that trolling thing, oh, we are peacekeeping. No, if they want all out, now it's you versus me, you end here, they can do that. And what happens if European Union, instead of acting like political, they're like, the band together, like really band together. It's like, no, this will not stand, you die here. They can do that. They have the money, they have the economic backing. And if European Union jumps in, USA will be like, how about I give you some love? How little bit, not too much. Like it will not even make a dent in their national budget. They're like, just a little bit of love. And they're like, Russia, please. Oh, you're gonna increase the gas price? Just wait few minutes. Yeah, your gas fuels are our, all your gas wells are our right now. So there is that kind of option. However, that is a very bloody option, and any Tom, Dick and Harry who went through World War II or have seen occupations, they know for a fact that price is just not worth paying, unless it's extremely necessary, unless it's like, what else we can do. Nobody wants to choose that. What are the second option is basically doing nothing, which may people do that. However, people are choosing third option, which I'm happy and scared at the same time. Happy that people are doing something, scared that it could have very severe consequences to entirety of space industry and entirety of people's life. Space industry wise, like ISS has the biggest partner, it's going YOLO on it, so that could create a very serious issue, partnership issue. Because again, I specified European Union should not be in a position they need this, but right now they need this. Without it, they cannot even go to ISS. SpaceX is awesome and amazing, but they are still one company, and again, Rocket Lab still behind schedule, and Blue Origin, what God knows what the hell they are doing. Boeing, God help them. So right now we are in a scenario where if Russia really keeps pushing and more sanctions starts to happen, it could have severe consequences. And one thing you have to understand, whenever you are talking about politics and other countries, no country is another country's friend. Meaning, I've seen many Indians who are like, Russia, we have to support Russia or we have to go against it. Here's the deal: Russia controls China and India, both of them. Now, control, I do not mean like control. I'm going to control you. It's like, I'm going to support you. Now, what does that mean? That simply means if China goes YOLO, Russia is like, hey, India, YOLO, and that keeps them level. Now, if China, goes down and India is like, I'm going to do some service, no. How about no? So this way, they create a proxy tension scenario where they can balance both of the puppies while remaining completely independent from it. It's like, hey, most of your advanced weapon system that is India and Russia developing, like BrahMos missile, yeah, that's we can pull that puppy out. So it's like India, relax. China is like, we're gonna blow up USA. Basically, they can try, but like, if you want to do that, it's like, bro, your gas, I'm going to cut it off. So that gives them basically two walls they can control. It's like, if one is going YOLO on it. So that's why no country is friend of another country. Every country is looking out for their self. However, sometimes they do go stupid and like, one person gets a bit too cuckoo. But let's see what happens, because this is tragedy on a level that I do not want to look into it. It's like, I do not want to look into it. It's just like, I'm too tired to look into it. So this was my presentation on basically space politics. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.